Gotta refresh the page. Oh, no, it looks like we're on. Can you see and hear me, everybody? Let me know. Excellent. Well, everyone. Welcome back to Paleontologizing. Welcome back to wonderful, wild, windy Wyoming. Back at the ceratopsian site today. Doing some overburden, and I'm glad you could be here. It's gonna be a fun stream. We got rained out yesterday. It's a thunderstorm that rolled in just as I was getting ready to start the stream. I was pretty tired anyway, so I guess it was nice that those two things coincided. So we skipped yesterday, and we're back today. Now, welcome everybody. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm with other paleontologists and volunteers and students, and we're doing our best to dig up a dinosaur here at the ceratopsian site. You're going to see a lot of overburden today. This is moving the rock that is on top of the protective layer, on top of the bone layer. Sometimes you have to move a tremendous amount of rock to be able to get down to where the bones are, and that's what we're doing today. So not likely that you'll be seeing any bones. In fact, if you see any bones today, that'll be a very bad thing, because that means that we've had a grievous injury. So cross your fingers there's no bones on camera today. But I'm glad you're here. Welcome. And let me know if you've got any questions. This is, believe it or not, how I make my living as a paleontologist, by doing science outreach live streams. Whether it's back home in my office for about 8 months out of the year, talking about new paleontological discoveries, going over new scientific papers, interviewing other paleontologists, and doing tons and tons of questions and answers. Whether we're out here in the field, in wild and woolly Wyoming. I'm going to be in Montana next week, and then later on I'm going to be in Utah later in the summer. Wherever we're at, the whole point is to show you how paleontology really works, you know? To take you along for the ride. That's why I'm broadcasting to you via satellite right now. There's the dish over there, and with any luck we'll be able to keep the signal going even when I'm not, well, even when I'm down in the quarry. But let's walk over toward the crew. And Trick Track says doesn't look like it rained at all. I mean, it dries up pretty quick out here. Yeah, rain is usually short and often torrential, and well, it tends to dry up pretty quick. That it's a hazard as the lightning, and you don't want to be hills when there's lightning striking all around you. So we chose to wrap up yesterday, and went into town and did some laundry and stuff, and kind of rested in the afternoon, and that was nice. I kind of needed that. I've been out here for over a week now, and yeah, it's nice to have a little bit of downtime, you know? Catch up on emails and stuff, that kind of thing. And yeah, and Case Kuchin says, what time period in Montana? So in Montana, we're going to be digging in rocks that are also from the late Cretaceous period, but older than this. The rocks that we're digging up here in western Wyoming, these rocks are about 72, 73 million years old, give or take. In Montana, I think those rocks are going to be closer to 77, 78. And then later on in Utah, we're going back way further in time to the early Cretaceous period, the earliest Cretaceous, about 140, 142 million years ago, give or take, out near Moab, Utah. And then there's a slight chance they might even be doing fieldwork in Wyoming, or excuse me, Nevada. I still need to send some emails about that, but I'd love to join a crew out there. That'd be in the Triassic period. I've never really worked in the Triassic before, but we'll see if that happens this year. And fossilless northern Germany. You've got fossils there, Alterabu. There's fossils all over the world. Might just not be a famous region in terms of paleontological heritage, but I'm sure you've got fossils in northern Germany. Yeah. Anywho, good stuff. Let's go say hello to the crew. And yeah. He's back on. Digging the tunes today. Quinn says this is royalty free. Hopefully that's the case. We don't get the VOD muted. I should be standing in front of the satellite dish. walk you around a little bit and I'll let them concentrate. Mike else is finding a lot of awesomeness in ourselves, yes, because doing here. This is the ceratopsian site our crew discovered back in 2023, and in the time since then we've removed all of this rock in here. This is where the bones are from. It's from down in the bone layer, and so we're working on, the bones are down here in the bone layer. We've got to remove all of this rock because we basically so if we have more of this horned dinosaur here, it's going to be under that big hunk. So this crew's been working diligently and ferociously, one might say, to remove all of this rock here. All of this debris that you see here, this is their handiwork. This giant debris pile here. Moving these rocks is not easy. This morning we had like 8 people on pry bars turning these big boulders over and over and over again so we can get them down here. So it's quite the undertaking, but it's important work. And boy meets mini. Hey, welcome from Rayco Stream. Good to see you. Yeah. And if the jacket's been moved, then that's a different site. We've not had a jacket come out of this site since 2024. This is just moving rock here, trying to get down to those bones. So you might be mistaking this with the purple puzzle site where we were at the other day. Those jackets have been moved, or one of them has been. It is now safely in the Bureau of Land Management office under lock and key. So we don't have to worry about that. It's in a safe location. But here, the name of the game is just removing all of this rock. Hopefully, there's more of a different ceratopsian dinosaur under this rock. In order to find out, we have to physically move all of it, which is what we're doing. You see Nick up there with the jackhammer? And Pete B says, dang, I'm glad the BLM acts the way they do them. They've been wonderful to us. We are extremely grateful for the help of the Bureau of Land Management. We're here digging on lands that are administered by the BLM. They've been very, very good to us. We are deeply, deeply grateful. Because we're digging here on federal land. This is public land. This belongs to we the people of the United States. Not some private landowner or something. This is our land as Americans. And we applied for special permits to be able to dig here, conduct science. And the BLM has been very cooperative. We love them. They've been so good to us. The local office here has been just stellar. We couldn't ask for better partners in this work, you know? And there you go, Charlie's Dragon. Exactly. Yeah, we are literally moving mountains here. And Gojira, I agree. Yeah, I don't know. We've had some difficulty. I've been on crews where we've had difficulty with the Bureau of Land Management before, where I don't know. Sometimes they don't quite understand the work that we're doing, or there's miscommunications, that kind of thing. You know. Sometimes we all fail to realize we're actually on the same team, but it hasn't been that way out here in Wyoming. It's been like a dream. We've been so lucky. We love the BLM out here. Yeah. Oh, and Leanne. Oh, Lauren, I think, is over at the Ankylosaur site right now. So she's not here today. She's finding fossils out there at the Anky site. But I'll tell her you said hi. Yeah. But yeah. And Case Kuchin wants to know, what is done after you leave the site and there's the possibility that you found something which hasn't been fully dug up yet? That's exactly the situation we're in here, Case Kuchin. This site we initially discovered in 2023, and we've been digging at it every year since. The last bones to come out of here were from 2024. So last year, It was just moving rock. This year, it's just moving rock. Hopefully next year, we'll actually be able to get down to the bone layer and find some more bones. They might not even be in there, you know? We're kind of rolling the dice on this. We are, to a certain extent, having some faith that there's more of this ceratopsian dinosaur in there. But, yeah, we just have to hope. It's a tremendous amount of work, all riding on hope here, but we think it'll pay off. It's an important animal. Yeah. And, Janowitz, hey, let me go tell Colin. Yeah. There he is there in the green shirt and the hat. Hey, Colin. Colin. Special someone wants to say hi.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Can't wait to catch you. Tell her how much I miss her.
Yeah. That's what we're doing. It's not as noisy.
What'd you say? What'd she say?
Says Colin's fiance says hi.
Yeah, Haley.
We got proof of life out here. We're taking good care of Colin.
I'm alive. I'm tired. I'm sore.
Yeah.
Having a great time with great people. But I miss you a whole lot. Give the pets my love and hugs and kisses. I'll be home soon.
Nice. Well said. Yeah. No, we take care of each other out here. Don't worry about Colin. We've got a good group of folks out here, and we care about each other, you know? We've got a big crew, but it's close-knit. And, yeah. It's like a special kind of bonding when you're out here in the middle of nowhere with a bunch of like-minded people. It's a pretty special situation. So anyway, thank you for lending us Colin for a while. He's been very helpful. And Casey, how are you doing? Hello, Casey Snowart. Hope you're having a good day. As you can tell, it's a little bit windy here in Wyoming. So it goes. We've had some temperature changes. It got cold yesterday and this morning. And I think it's heating up again, so we're having like some sort of high pressure, low pressure system. I don't know, it's windy. So I'm very grateful for the wind weasel on the microphone right now, or this would be unlistenable. And holy cow, Newbie Muffin. Newbie Muffin, welcome to Paleontologizing. It's good to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Welcome to wild and windy Wyoming. We're digging up a horned dinosaur out here. This specimen, I think, is going to the Carnegie Museum in Pittsburgh, if I remember correctly. One of two museums. It's either there or Cincinnati. But glad you could join us. How was your stream? I hope it was really good. My name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist. I'm here on Twitch trying to do some good old-fashioned science outreach. And yeah, we've got to move a ton of literal, I say a ton of rock, that's an understatement. Literal metric tons of rock we're moving at this site. I'll show you. In order to be able to get down to where the bones are. Not 2 tons, more like, I don't know, 100 tons? Here, I'll show you. You can see the debris field down here where the guys and gals have been tossing these huge boulders. Look at this down here. Just nuts. All of this. All of this. been here for tremendous amount of work. Yeah. It's all of this moved by hand. No no heavy equipment, no tractors, nothing like that. Just elbow grease, grit, determination. And we do have a jackhammer, we've got some rock saws, but you know, even those are a ton of work. Gotta operate those by hand. Yeah. And Newbie Muffin says you knew paleontology was such a good workout. Oh, you have no idea. Holy cow. Yeah. It's most summers when I'm in the field, I'll maybe lose a pant size or two, and then maybe gain about 10 or 15 pounds, just muscle. It's something, you know? And keep in mind that we're doing all of this at about 6,000 feet elevation, which is what, like 1,700 meters, something like that? So we are well above sea level. Yeah. The air is thin up here. So it makes work even more strenuous, I guess you could say. Yeah. And Max Devlin says, do you sometimes have everyone work at the same sites? Almost, yeah. Yeah, we had a day last week where everyone went to the Purple Puzzle site. It was actually just a few days ago to move a big jacket. It was almost everybody. Me and Fisher and Cameron were over at Turtle Hill that day. And we had a really good stream. I think that, what was that, Sunday? It's just a few days ago. So nearly all of us were there. It was something like 30 people. Sometimes we have a really big push at a particular site where something big needs to happen. You need a lot of hands. That's what we had the other day. But most of the time we're split up. We're currently working 5 different sites right now as we speak. There's the ceratopsian site here. There's Purple Puzzle, which is also now a ceratopsian site, much to our surprise. We thought it was a duckbill. Now it's a horned dinosaur. We're very happy about that. And we've got the Anki site, where we've got a bunch of crew members digging up an armored dinosaur, an ankylosaur. And what am I missing? Ceratopsian, Turtle Hill, Anki, what am I missing? Scattered Plain is another one. That's supposed to be number 5. Anywho, yeah. So we've got some folks who came in from Idaho the other day, and they are working the Scattered Plain site, which we think is also a hadrosaur, a duckbill dinosaur. So, yeah. When you guys moved the skull? We did, Deathsaurus, yeah. Yeah. Oh, and the plant site. The plant site is at Turtle Hill, though. It's like the Turtle Hill Annex, I guess you could say. It's right next door. That's a duplex kind of site. Yeah. And Turtle Hill, Turtle Puzzle, empty sites. Oh yeah, there we go. Yeah, that's 5. Sorry, I can't count. I'm not a mathematician, chat. I'm a paleontologist. Yeah, and there you go, Casey Snowart. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, good stuff. Some of you might remember here the other day, the actual quarry itself was like what was the bone layer was all covered by rubble, and over the past couple days, these guys and me this morning too, were helping move all this rubble down the hill, and now it's clean. We even took a photo. We're quite proud of it, getting this surface all cleaned up. So there's the bone bed now, and we're doing our best to keep this nice and clean so we don't have to move the rock again. Hence the buckets that Colin's got right there. Yeah. So again, all of this below the crew, we have to take all of that rock down and until this layer here with the tarps on it. All of this has to go. We're moving all of that rock by hand. And what about this? No, this is sandstone here. And it is heavy. Holy cow. And it is hard. This is going to take a tremendous amount of work. This is concreted sand. This stuff is concrete. Hence the jackhammer. And Ibis Colt says, how do you know where to dig? We dig where the bones are. Simple. No, I'll tell you. Let's go walk over there, and I'll explain it where it's not as noisy. Here, I'll go walk up in this direction, try not to get hit in the face with a shovel full of rocks. Derek? So yeah, this would be a nice little intro for anybody who's new. That is probably the most common question I get out here is, how do we know where to dig? I could go on for hours and hours about reading geological maps and finding decent outcrop and land ownership and all that, but I'll try and condense it down. Where do we dig? It all depends on what you're after. So our crew is really interested in this particular geological formation. These rocks are about 72, 73 million years old. This is a blank spot on the map. We don't have any dinosaurs that are named from this time and place. So just about anything here that we find is going to be new. A new genus, a new species, all kinds of new stuff. So back in 2020, I think it was, Ethan Cowgill, who's leading this expedition, this is his big project. He's from Salt Lake City, Utah. He wanted to find a place where he could make a difference, where he could fill in a blank spot on the map, and he realized that this region is perfect for that. There was a guy named Barnum Brown who came through here in the 1930s, really famous paleontologist. He's the guy who discovered T-Rex. He came here in about 1937 and found some dinosaurs and nearly died due to the weather out here. He almost got caught in, well, he did get caught in a sudden like thunderstorm, and it's a harrowing story. But anyway, he came here in the 30s, found some dinosaurs, never named any of them, never really worked on them. This area became kind of forgotten. And Ethan decided he was going to come back here afterwards. So he looked at some geological maps, he looked at land ownership maps, he talked to the Bureau of Land Management about getting permits for prospecting. He came out here with some friends and family and just explored the rocks, sticking to the terrestrial sediments here. That's where you find the dinosaurs. And went out exploring and just found some stuff. We call that prospecting, when you're walking along looking for fossils. So you're just walking along like this, and you pick up anything that looks unusual, and you go, could this be bone? No, we've got some lichen growing on here, we've got some plant material, some mudstone. Not a bone. You just keep doing that, looking at anything unusual, until you find that distinct bone texture. And hopefully you find a bunch of chunks of bone, and they're going up, like in a trail, up the hill, and then you find the source and you dig in, and if you get really lucky, then you've got a skeleton. That's exactly what our crew did here in 2023. Found a new ceratopsid dinosaur. We think this is going to be a new species or a new genus, and that's why we're putting so much effort into this, so much blood, sweat, and tears into removing this tremendous amount of rock. We have several really important bones from the skulls so far, back in the laboratory. We think there's more in there, but we've dug as far as we can with hand tools. The bone layer stops, it goes underneath these big sandstone blocks, so we gotta take those out. This is like a summer-long project just removing those giant sandstone blocks. Does that make sense? Yeah. Anywho. And hey, Nelf, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. Good stuff. And so much overburden, absolutely. Yeah. And Lillisvarden, we're probably not going to find any dinosaur bones today. Again, this is all overburden today. We're removing all the rocks that are on top of where the bones are in order to get to the bones, if that makes sense. Yeah. And, oh, thank you, Casey, for the clip. Brilliant. Yeah. And, who's that? We got a gray username. Oop. No, stop it. Come on, phone. Sorry, your name's really hard to read, the color. It almost matches the background. Iho Hannes says hello from Austria. Hello from Wyoming, out here in the western United States, Great Rocky Mountain region. We're digging up a dinosaur here today. Let's go back over there. It's very windy today, Claire. There's nothing I can do, though. Can't change the weather.
Ontogeny.
Quinn?
Yeah, I just have like a crap ton of sand in my eyes.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah, it's super windy out here.
It is. Yeah.
Out in the desert.
What's that?
Right now, he just texted me.
Who did?
My brother.
Yeah. You want to say hello to everybody at home, Steph?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, Lucas. he said a shout out from Austria.
Oh, that's him.
Yeah. He lives in
cool.
Austria.
Okay, yeah.
Hi, Lucas.
He says, nice shirt.
Thank you.
Yeah. We've been taking good care of Steph out here, and she's been taking good care of us. She is a machine in the quarry. I saw you earlier at the rock saw. Holy cow. Yeah. So, fantastic addition to the crew.
I can attest to that.
Yeah.
She's an absolute killer. Absolute
Yeah. So yeah. Hope everybody's doing well. And she's a rock star? She definitely is. She definitely is. And oh, do we have a Filippo Bertozzo in the chat? Hello, Dyson Dinosaur. What's shaking? Good to see you, Filippo. We're back at another ceratopsian site today. No hadrosaurs here, unfortunately. At least not yet. Who knows? We might get lucky, dig down into there, and it could be a duckbill that died alongside our ceratopsid, you know? Two star-crossed. It's doubtful, though. Yeah. Got an injury, Nick?
Oh, boo boo.
Yeah. I've got a first aid kit. I'm sure you do too.
Just scratch, it's fine.
Yeah. But, yeah. This is not easy work, you know? And we try very hard to be safe out here, but we get nicks and scratches and stuff like that. But yeah. And Cliff41 says, are there strict rules about reclamation at the end of a dig? It depends where you're at. So we're here on Bureau of Land Management, public land. And so those rules are up to the BLM, the Bureau of Land Management. And there are people whose job it is to monitor us and keep track of what we're doing and all that. And we're very, very lucky here in this operation that we've got some great people from the BLM. The Bureau of Land Management often gets a really bad rap because they administer these federal lands. They make the rules, they make sure that people are following the rules, they can issue fines and stuff like that. But the Bureau of Land Management is always caught in a difficult spot where they're trying to balance a whole bunch of different interests, you know? There's the interests of, well, people like us, paleontologists, or we want to come here and do science and dig big holes and find big dinosaurs. There's also ranchers and hunters and people who come out and ride ATVs around here. There's biologists, there's the tribes of the native people in this region. There's people just driving through on the weekends. There's environmentalists. There's loggers and miners, people doing mining operations. And all of these people all ask the Bureau of Land Management for different things. And so it's one of those situations where they do their very best to keep everybody happy and to make sure that they're being good stewards of the land. But you come to compromises, and inevitably some people are going to be unhappy. But we've been incredibly lucky that the BLM here locally has been on our side. They're really excited about what we're doing here. They see the value in it, and they're excited. It's been good. It's really good. So we're extraordinarily grateful to the Bureau of Land Management here in Wyoming. Brain of Purple, thank you. You as well. Holy cow, 10 gift subs? I really appreciate that. Thank you kindly. Making it possible to do these live streams through your financial support. That's tremendous, and I really appreciate it. Holy cow. Yeah. Pate B says, so this is an old site? Well, we found it in 2023. So yeah. 3, 4, 5. That's our 4th year at this site. But this site is more than 4 years old. It is about 72 million years old, as are the rocks in this area. But yeah. From the age of dinosaurs, from the late Cretaceous. Yeah. Anyway, I really appreciate that, Brain of Purple. Thank you for your generosity. Believe it or not, this is literally how I make my living. This is how I pay the bills, through live streams like this. This is the reason I can be out here, the reason I could afford fuel to be able to drive all the way from California out to Wyoming, and the reason I'll be able to afford to drive all the way up to Montana. I'm leaving on Sunday for that. Looks like, anyway, Sunday. That's going to be cool too. But visiting another crew, some old friends of mine, it's going to be really nice. Thank you for making that possible, Brain of Purple. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Anyhow. 309 people watching. Excellent. Welcome, everybody. And if you've got other questions, don't hesitate to ask. I'm kind of waiting until we get a big raid before I do break out some visual aids and kind of show you what's going on here. I don't want to do that too often because I don't want it to get repetitive. But yeah, you know what prevents things from getting repetitive is cool questions from the chat. So if you've got them, don't be shy. I'm gonna go get some water in the meantime. And Hoove says, are you currently prospecting for new sites? No, not yet. Logan, who is kind of he's our prospecting goat. He comes out here, he wanders around, he finds new sites. We're renting a second vehicle for him, and he's gonna be out here in about a week or two, and that's gonna be awesome. We were raising money for that on my channel, about a month and a half ago, something like that. And we raised close to, it was like $3,700. So that'll pay for a vehicle, that'll pay for fuel, that'll pay for some food for us as well. And Logan is going to find a whole bunch of new sites and different people who contributed money to that. If they gave more than $50, they had the opportunity to submit a potential name for a site. And so if you paid $50 or more for that, you can get a site named after you or your dog or a loved one or a video game or a pop culture reference or whatever. So we've got a list of those, and we'll be applying those to our sites as Logan finds them, which is going to be a lot of fun. Yeah. Anyway, let me go get some water. It is dry out here, very, very dry. If somebody wants to pull up the weather command, we can see what the humidity is for this region. Yeah, and we are kind of near Green River, Hooves. Yeah. I'm not going to say exactly where we are, just because this stuff is new, it's cutting edge, and we don't really want vandals or no good nicks coming out here and messing with our stuff. So, apologies, but I gotta be a little bit cagey about our exact location. It's funny because doing live streams like this, we're trying to make this, you know, open and inviting and trying to make you feel like you're really here. But at the same time, practically speaking, we've got to make sure that we're being circumspect, we're being a little bit cagey, we're being smart at least about not revealing our exact location, you know? Hope that makes sense. And there you go, Crimson, oh boy. Yeah. And it's in there somewhere, exactly, Kindred Soul. Yeah. And how long do you think this sort of dry climate existed in this area? This wasn't as dry during the last ice age, I don't think. And it would have been a little bit cooler and wetter, I think, during the Pleistocene. So this being so incredibly dry out here is kind of a new. There's not a lot of water where we're at. In fact, I only within like a 20 square mile radius maybe where there's standing water. That's not true. I'm sure there's. Anyway, I've only seen one pond this whole time, and it's man-made. And Emo Purulento. We're just trying to be very, very careful about that. There have been some very rare but very extreme cases where someone has published something without access to the physical specimens. It's not unheard of, but it is extremely rare. We just don't want that kind of trouble. You know, it's better safe than sorry. Yeah. And Hoof says you had any wildlife visit camp every day, all the time. We're beset by rodents, chipmunks and pack rats and mice and who knows what else. We got to make sure that we keep all of our food and everything else like that locked up in hard containers because, well, we even had a few crew members forget to close those containers, and then we got mice or rats climbing around in there eating things and leaving their droppings, and we don't want that with hantavirus more prevalent. It's not the sort of problem we want to have to deal with. But yeah, lots of rodents in camp, and get some cool birds too. There's some rock wrens that like to hang out around camp. Some other birds. Haven't seen any reptiles in camp yet. No lizards or snakes, but they're around here. And actually, I was just walking over the ridge earlier today, and I almost tripped over a baby pronghorn who was hiding there in the sagebrush. You know, I'm just walking along, and then boom! This baby pronghorn jumps out and runs past me over the ridge. Must have been terrified. But that is their strategy, is mom will leave them there, and they'll just be like, hey, hide over in these bushes, and I'll come back later. And so I hope Mama's able to find baby. I'm sure she'll be able to later. But that was pretty cool and unexpected. Really startled me. But yeah. So jealous you got to be so close to one. Yeah, and I got some really good pictures of a pronghorn earlier today too. They were really close to the road. Let's see if I can show you. Yeah, you might not be able to see this very well, and apologies if you can't. But there is a pronghorn. Who's that? Antilocapra americana? The American pronghorn, the last of the Antilocaprids. Really cool critter. Naturalist yet. I should check real quick. That's one of my favorite North American mammals. Okay, I have logged pronghorn before in Beaverhead County, Montana, back in 2018. Wow. Okay. So it's not a new one, but it is a cool one. I might log that again, just because it was a nicer photo this time. But yeah. You were quite close. Yeah. Pronghorn are so cool. They're unique. There's nothing else like them still around. There used to be a whole bunch of different species within that family up until the last ice age. And then nowadays, there's just one. Just the pronghorn. But yeah, they went out along with the other Pleistocene megafauna. So the other ones went extinct at the same time as the saber-toothed cats and the mammoths and the ground sloths and all their friends. It's cool to think that like pronghorn are part of that cohort, you know? They are like a cool, weird Pleistocene mammal that's still around. But really, any mammal that's around today is kind of a survivor of the Pleistocene, I suppose. Yeah. And there you go, Casey. Yeah. We don't see a ton of wildlife around here. It is a fairly desolate area. As you can tell, it's very dry. There's not a lot of vegetation. It's hard to make a living out here, but a few tough critters are able to do it, like the pronghorn, like deer. Somebody saw some elk before I got here, back in May. And then we see wild horses every day too, which is really cool. Mustangs, they're just running around doing their thing, and they've got a lot of babies this year. Apparently it was a very warm winter, not a whole lot of snow at all this winter. And so sometimes when you have a really harsh winter, you don't see as many babies because maybe they just didn't make it. This year, there's a lot. It was a good winter for them. So tons and tons of wild horses that we we'll see herds of 8 or 10 of them fairly frequently. Did we just get a raid here? Let's see. And maybe I'm misunderstanding. But hello to you, Maze Key. How are you doing? Welcome. Yeah, and they are feral horses. Yeah, the actual wild horses from the Pleistocene are extinct. They may have been hunted to extinction, or maybe it was climate change, or maybe it was a combination. At the end of the Pleistocene, about 11,000 years ago, they disappear from the fossil record. So the wild horses that we have today are feral. They're the descendants of domestic horses that the Europeans brought to North America, and then some of them escaped or were set free by the native people. And now there's horses across the American West. And there's a lot of like political drama over that. A lot of the people who live here hate that there are wild horses in this area, and just want them all exterminated. I don't feel that way, but a lot of folks do. Anywho. Oh, and Maisky rated with 49. Oh, thank you, Claire. Maisky, welcome to Paleontologizing. It's great to have you here. Thanks for joining us. Here, let me walk you over there. We're digging up dinosaurs out here in wild and windy Wyoming. So here's the quarry. Today we're not expecting to find any bones. We're way too high in section. We've got to remove all this rock because the bones are down below. So I'll do my best not to obscure the satellite transmission here. There we go.
Thought we found a bone for a second.
Yeah, that would have been weird, so high up here. But yeah, so that is the quarry floor down there. That's where the bones are. That's where we were working in 2023 and 2024. And then we just ran into this wall here. And now we have to take all of this down. So where we're standing right now, we have to remove all of this rock until it's down to that layer down there. So yeah, light work. Yeah. So I know it looks like I'm just standing around yammering while these guys work, and that's true. But I I don't know. I was working this morning.
We had you in the morning.
Yeah.
Good loving for it.
We moved a lot of rock this morning. Holy cow.
Yeah.
Big, big rocks.
Nice.
Is the battery dead?
Yeah.
Well, if we get the generator going, we could plug it in. Oh!
That's dead. Maybe we could do
Okay. Is that still royalty free?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
The 1 second gets you money.
It just nukes the whole VOD. Anyway, oh, Quinn, I forgot to ask you last time, and I can come back later if you want. Do you have a music recommendation for us today? This is
Yeah.
kind of our running theme a couple years ago, was Quinn's music choice of the day.
Yeah. I do. You should all listen to Tinariwen.
Tinariwen?
Yeah, so it's Tinariwen. They're a band from Morocco.
Uh-huh.
They're pretty freaking cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, if you ever get the time, look up their like YouTube videos. They're all
Uh-huh.
like Moroccan. They all have like headdress on.
Uh-huh.
They're freaking cool.
That sounds really cool. Holy
Yeah.
cow, I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah,
That's a
they-
solid recommendation right there, Chad.
They sing in
Hope you're
Farsi.
listening.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Tinariwen. Oh, and Mac Master says, I listen to Tinariwen. They are great.
Yeah.
Yeah, heck
If
yes.
you're on the desert, they collab for sure.
That sounds incredible, yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. Oh, and Casey says she took some of your music recommendations a few years ago and she loved them. So.
Love that. Also, listen to Breakfast in America, one of the best albums of all time.
Breakfast in America?
Yeah.
All right. Who's that by?
By Supertramp.
Oh, okay. Nice.
It's a perfect album.
I love a perfect album. Yeah. Good stuff. Yeah. And Gurney House is not sure what a ceratopsian is, but it sounds cool. Let me show you. Not down there because we don't have it here. It's under these rocks. We gotta move all of this. See all of this here? That's where the bone layer stopped. We dug up everything we could down there. It's continuing horizontally, which means we've got to remove all of this. All of this has to go before we can find more of this dinosaur. So it's we got our work cut out for us, needless to say. But let me show you the prize that we're after. This scientifically important creature. Where did I put that? It's gonna be here. Yeah, like Triceratops. There you go, Charlie's Dragon. Yeah. But our critter is maybe a bit more Pentaceratops-like. This may or may not be the same species of ceratopsian that we had at the Purple Puzzle site. Oh goodness. The wind is gonna try and catch these foam things. These have all fallen apart. They're a pain in the butt. There we go. This is the animal in question. This is a ceratopsian. This is, I think, Ankyceratops here. Our guy is gonna be a little bit different. The horns and frill are gonna be a little bit different. If this critter at this site is the same as the ceratopsian skull that we pulled out of Purple Puzzle, then it's got a very Triceratops-like face and a very Pentaceratops-like frill. But we don't know if this is going to be the same ceratopsian. It could even be a different species. It would kind of almost be better if it wasn't. If it turns out to be the same species, then we would get, with two specimens, some idea of the variation that they can have within the species. But it would also be really cool if it's a new species. I would certainly not complain about that. If we have two species of Chasmosaurine ceratopsid out here, that would be killer. But we'll see. Yeah. And here's a skeleton of Pentaceratops. So the frill on our guy from Purple Puzzle looks very much like this, but the face looks more like Triceratops. Anyway, so very cool horned dinosaur. From that other site, we've got what we think are ribs. We definitely have vertebrae. We have ossified tendons. we think we have limb bones, and we have basically that much of the skull. So I'm covering up the front of the face with my fingers. We might even have the whole skull. The nose might be hiding underneath other pieces. We just haven't seen it yet. We're not sure. But we're extremely excited about that. Those of you who caught that stream, you know how excited we were. Holy moly. I think that helps to illustrate why we're working so hard at this site, moving literal dozens of metric tons of rocks, maybe hundreds of tons. We're not really sure. It's just a lot. It is a lot of rock that we're moving. We're doing this because it's super important that we get as much of this animal as possible, because it's almost certainly a new species, probably a new genus too. So yeah. Anyhow, that explains the enthusiasm. Good, Wombat Hole. I'm glad that explains it. Yeah. Anyhow. But, Gurney House says, sounds like the worst kind of tedium? No. Shoot, this is... I want you to understand that nobody here is getting paid. We all do this because we love it, because we care about it, because we think it's important work, and because we love being around other people who care about this stuff, you know? We're all kindred spirits here. This is, to me, this is what science is, you know? We're working to, bit by bit, unlock the mysteries of this grand history of life on Earth. Bone by bone, rock by rock. It's hard work, but it's worth it. And you get to be around really cool people. You'll work outside all day, go back to camp and hang out around the campfire. We're gonna do karaoke night again pretty soon. We're living the dream out here, you know? This is something special. We're very lucky to be here. We've had people who have traveled to Wyoming from across the country. So let's see here. Let's do a little who's who. Talk about where everybody's from. Derek, where are you from?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Oh yeah. Quinn, where are you from?
Buffalo, New York, baby.
Yeah. Colin?
Pittsburgh, baby.
Yeah. Where are you from, Steph?
Boston.
Boston.
Utah.
James from Utah. And Nick?
San Diego.
San Diego. Claro que sí. California. Yo también. I'm from Oakland. Drove all the way out here. So yeah, we've got folks from across the country here, all converging on Wyoming. This is what we love to do, you know? So yeah. Activity complex. I can't believe I got that reference. Shoot. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah. I don't know, honestly, the camaraderie during fieldwork like this is one of my favorite parts. You know, and the connections that we make here, the friends that we make here last a lifetime. We've got a lot of new folks here on the crew this year and a lot of repeats. So some of us have been working here. I've been working here since 2023. And we get new folks every year, and we get returning folks every year. There are folks who've been in this crew for longer than I have been. Quinn was doing work with Ethan out here years before I was. I think he's been doing this since like 2021. So, yeah. And the cool thing is, like, we can come back year after year, but also we'll see each other at conferences and stuff like that. You know, some of these folks are going to be out in Cleveland at the Society of Vertebrate Paleontology meeting in November. And we've got photos of our crew all gathered up last year at a previous Society of Vertebrate Paleontology meeting, at a previous SVP. And we're all showing off our almond tattoos. This is the almond formation that we're digging in out here. And so Ethan's brother, Ethan runs the operation, this is his baby. Ethan's brother, Josh, is a tattoo artist. And every year he brings his equipment out here and sets up a little tent and gives people free tattoos if they get a particular tattoo. It's an almond, and I have mine right here. There we go. So we've each got the almond on different parts. This is sounding like a cult or something, isn't it? But it's just a fun thing. The folks who want to get tattoos, and we've each got them on like different parts of our bodies. And it's just a fun thing that we carry with us all the time, you know? Yeah. The Almond Brothers. There you go, Claire. Yeah. Vito the monkey. Yep. Yep. Yeah. So good stuff. Again, I say all this just to make the point that we love being here. We're living the dream, you know? There's so much fulfillment and joy to be found doing this kind of work. And honestly, it's just such an incredible break from that rat-eat-dog world out there, you know? We come out here and we work for free. We're not doing this for profit. It's so nice to be able to just kind of escape from commerce for a while. You know what I mean? Yeah. Anyhow. And Vasta Tarantula, I am not married, nor do I have kids. But a lot of my colleagues do. Yeah. It can be really difficult to have a family in this line of work, especially if you're doing field work, because you might be gone for months out of the year. Jobs are very scarce, and so sometimes you have to move across the country or across the world to be able to get a decent paying job doing paleontology. And so, yeah. And usually the decent paying jobs don't even pay that well. So, but that being said, there are, well, next week I'll be introducing you all to a paleontological power couple, Denver and Liz Friedman Fowler, up there in Montana. They live in North Dakota, but they come out to Montana every summer to do field work. And yeah, they've been together for a long time. They got married 13, I think. Yeah. And they run the Badlands Dinosaur Museum in Dickinson, North Dakota. I'm very proud of that because I played a role in getting Denver that job. I drove him out to both of his job interviews in North Dakota, all the way from western Montana, and he got it. That is the best decision the city of Dickinson, North Dakota ever made, was hiring Denver Fowler as curator of that museum. That's going to be really cool, showing you around, introducing you all to another crew out there, and it'll be really nice to catch up with Denver and Liz. I used to do field work with Denver every summer from 2011 through 2017, and haven't done field work with him since, so it's going to be a really nice reunion. Anywho, yeah. Let me go get some water. Yeah. Night tattoo. There you go, Crimson, yeah. And I agree, I do think this line of work matters. It's important stuff. It's way more important than it gets credit for. And it's way more important than the lack of funding might suggest. Hang on, this is getting all wobbly on here, so let me readjust my my wrist strap. I'll set you down for a second, chat. Don't blow away. Everybody hold on. Oh, gotcha. What did I say? Everybody hold on, please. Here. There we go. Kind of a one-man band out here. So, getting all this stuff to work isn't always the easiest. There we go. Yeah. That's a little too tight. I'm gonna cut off circulation. Don't want to let you be a tourniquet on my arm, chat. That's better. Yeah. Good stuff. And Zanzibar, how are you doing? Welcome to Paleontologizing. Dinodax says, I will escape into the wild one day. It's a good feeling, you know? When I was a little kid, I dreamed about spending months out in the field, out in the desert, digging up dinosaurs, just living in the wilderness, and now I get to do that for several months every year. It's a dream come true. It really is. Away from the things of man. Anyhow, let's go get some water. Speaking of deserts, it's pretty dry out here. Showed him how to do it. There we go. Nice. If it weren't so windy, I'd set the camera down and work too, but no shot. Well, there's also not really a whole lot of space. But I could set some rocks on the tripod. Let's make this happen, huh?
get down there. I pry it. Just go for it. Pull back. Just pull back.
Got it.
What's up? Let's look for ear protection.
I don't know if she's here today. If they're here today.
Curious if this is what people expect when they think about a dig.
Yeah. I mean, if it is, we're delivering.
We are.
We really are digging.
Not so much bone yet, but
I don't even like rock. Runaway bucket.
Got you, homie. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Nice. There we go. How's it going, Murph? Good to see you. Welcome, welcome. Working hard, I see. I don't know. I'm hardly working right now, but I was trying to work hard this morning before the stream. But yeah, back at the ceratopsian site, and we're moving literal tons of rock. It would be interesting to, like, I don't know, interesting but very useless information to tally exactly how much rock we've moved here, but it's quite a bit. Yeah, look at all that, just nuts. Yeah. 370 people watching, not too shabby. Boogie's Bungalow, what's shaking with you? Good to have you here. Charlie's Dragon says you could grab a piece and weigh that and at least estimate. Yeah, which I think Riley did while he was here. He's an engineer. That sort of thing is right up his alley. And yeah, but gotta move a lot of rock to dig up a big dinosaur. And Akira Eclipse says, what's your favorite era of when dinosaurs were alive? The Mesozoic, the age of dinosaurs. That's my favorite era. Here, that's a good opportunity for a little discussion with some visual aids. But the age of dinosaurs is one era, the Mesozoic era. And then within that, you have three different periods: the Triassic, Jurassic, and Cretaceous. So yeah, this is a pretty easy question for me to answer. No contest, favorite one is the Mesozoic. Here, do I have that in here? I do. Brilliant. So here is a time spiral. Our Earth is not young. It's an old planet, about 4.5 billion years old. And so this represents the formation of the Earth, 4.567.3, or 4,567.3 million years. So 4.5 billion. So we go forward in time until we get to Blau, the Mesozoic era, here in blue. So this is the age of dinosaurs right here. This blue section right there where it says Mesozoic, that is subdivided into three different periods. The purple is Triassic. Dinosaurs first evolve probably about we call it the middle Triassic, but it's like the earliest third of the Triassic period. Anyway, dinosaurs probably first evolved about 240 million years ago in the purple there. Then the blue here is the Jurassic, and the green is the Cretaceous. So the rocks that we're digging in right now are part of the late Cretaceous period. About 145 million years ago, 66 million years ago. The rocks that we're digging in are about 72 million years old. So we're talking, let's see, so it would be about 6 million years, maybe 7 million years before the asteroid hits and ends the Cretaceous period and the reign of the dinosaurs, except for birds. After that, you've got the Cenozoic era. That's the one that we're in now. The last 66 million years is the Cenozoic. And that's when mammals become dominant on land, except for birds. Birds are dinosaurs. I hope most of you know that already, but dinosaurs are not extinct. In fact, there are about twice as many dinosaur species alive today as there are mammal species. There's about twice as many bird species, about 10,000 bird species. There's about 5,000 mammal species. So you could make some kind of argument that we're still living in the age of dinosaurs just by the numbers. If you go by speciosity, species diversity. But, you know, the big animals walking around on land, the top dogs in their ecosystems, they're generally mammals. So we often call this the age of mammals today. And for the past 66 million years. Murph says mammals got them by biomass by a little bit. I wonder if they do. Well, actually, shoot, don't talk about biomass because it gets super depressing. Nowadays, in the 21st century, it's something like, I think it's something like 60% of the biomass of animals on Earth is domestic animals. Cows, chickens, pigs, sheep, etc. And then it's something like 6% of all biomass on Earth in terms of animals is wild animals. It's insanely low. Like, we as human beings have really messed up this planet and really just kind of turned it into a factory for raising meat that we ourselves eat, and I don't want any part of that. It's one of the reasons why I'm a vegetarian. But yeah, it's bonkers. Somebody can look up the exact stats. But yeah, wild animals are just 5%. There you go, Murph. It's nuts. Oh my goodness. I was talking about this with Fisher the other day. Yeah, he had the stats on it. And yeah, it's enough to turn you vegan. Exactly, Tech Bird. Yeah, for sure, Pete B. Yeah, Monka S indeed. Yeah. Anyhow, honestly, that's one of the reasons why it's so nice to be out here in the wilderness, like out away from the things of man. But even here, the influence of humanity everywhere. You know, we see a jet plane sky. There's a power line going across there. There's roads. There's a dirt road down there. That's how we got here. There's our vehicles down there. Yeah. And then you find trash all over the place too, in the weirdest places. Like, you'll be hiking up a ravine and you think you're like in some beautiful secluded spot, and then there's an old washing machine that somebody dumped up there and then shot it with a bunch of shotgun shells. There's garbage all over the place. So, anywho, a better world is possible, you know? One of these days, as human beings, we're going to clean up our act and really care for the natural environments around us and help them thrive, leave them alone in a lot of cases. I say we will do that because if we don't, we're going to go extinct. We're going to die out. We're going to ruin this planet, and we'll drive ourselves into extinction. So things will get better. We have to make them get better. You know what I mean? Anywho. Yeah. Mayor of Space. Where else we're supposed to shoot our dadgum washing machines? At the shooting range, the firing range, you know? Take your washing machine there. Yeah. Anywho. And there you go, TechBird. Yeah. That's the thing. Like, we're at a pivotal time in human history right now. We could have a Mad Max future full of turmoil and bloodshed and tears and desolation. Or we could have a Star Trek future, you know? Where we get our act together, we learn to cooperate, and we'll have a bright, shining future together. So yeah. Cactus Jack says there is always Mars. No, there isn't. That's a joke. We're never going to live on Mars. That's insane. Talk to anybody who actually studies these things. It's a pipe dream. Yeah. And there you go, Smay. Hey, we're well on our way there, Smay. Goodness. Yeah. Anyway, let's go check in with the crew. It's getting a little quieter. Let's ask them, what's your favorite part of being out here in the field? Yeah. There's Nick getting some more water. Some more water. There's Colin on the jackhammer. James on paleo pick down there, and on the bucket drums we got Derek. I smell Gatorade.
And
There we go.
let's play hockey.
Oh my god, put too much powder in. Oh, that's so bad. I'm gonna keep drinking it.
I was Quinn. When I was at the Yoshi Strike site in 2011, my friend Brian Baziak put weight, and we were sitting around at lunchtime, and this bee flew into the quarry. And Brian opens up his water bottle, and the bee goes straight for it, and he's like, "Oh, you like that?" And the bee like does a little dance there, and then just goes zoom, disappears. And like 20 minutes later, with a huge swarm of bees that showed up in the quarry, they were chasing him around. They like chased him down the hill, and he's like dumping his water bottle out onto the ground, and the bees are just swarming it. So we called him Brian Beziak after that.
That's pretty funny. You want to try it?
It's so blue. Holy cow!
No, that was really a big mistake. I'm used to like it's way too like diluted with water.
Yeah.
But now this is just all sugar. Dang,
This is my only water for the day.
Is it really?
Yeah, oh well.
Shoot. You could pour some out and then just dilute it with more water.
That's true.
Yeah. Just do it away from the quarry so we don't get swarmed with bees.
True.
Yeah.
You want to try it, Danny?
We have the salt gun now.
Try it.
We're trying it. Let me just smell it. Oh my goodness. It's like
Blue
liquid
juice.
diabetes.
It's blue juice.
Oh goodness.
They're so salty. It's horrible.
Oh man, you're gonna be peeing blue.
I know. I'm gonna turn blue, like violet.
Well, that was the thing that happened to Brian too. Is the bees just kept following him around, and they were like trying to drink his sweat after that. So hopefully that doesn't happen to Quinn here. It's a little too windy to be sweating too much too. So
Yeah. Bees aren't out today. Too windy for 'em. All night.
Steph, thank you.
What is it?
It's like Neosporin.
Oh, yeah.
Antibiotic, nice. Yeah. Yeah. Nick, did you remember to put your key back on the key ring? Don't want you to lose that.
I don't remember. They pulse reach.
Good, yeah. Important, yeah. I borrowed Nick's key so I could go get the Gatorade from his truck earlier. And, yeah. You don't want to lose a key out here, you know? That's one of those nightmares that's just like, you drive way out to the desert, you hike around for miles and miles, you get back to the car and you go, where's my car keys? You know? Yeah. Chat's saying you're gonna turn into a Smurf there, Quinn.
Well, there could be worse things.
Yeah.
People love Smurfs.
People do. Is it Smurfs or Smurfs? Do you pluralize it like wolves or elves?
Or Smurfites.
Huh. I don't know. Do we have any grammarians in the chat? I would say Smurfs. Soyan streamed Balint, how you doing? Welcome, welcome. As you can tell, it's a little bit windy here in Wyoming. We're getting some light breezes, and yeah, we're moving literal tons, metric tons of rock. Oh, it died down. Oh, and there it comes again. Okay. Literal metric tons of rock at the ceratopsian site. Check this out. Just bonkers the amount of rock that we've moved. This crew is killer. Oh, and we got Colin on the McLeod. This is a specialized piece of equipment. I think it was actually designed for firefighting, like out in the wilderness.
Trenching?
Yeah, yeah. Digging trenches and stuff, but it's great for scraping rocks out of the way.
Or digging my own grave.
Or yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Whichever comes first.
Give you one last cigarette.
I need a back and mild. Please.
Yeah.
I've been out here for days.
So Rob says these rocks are clay. So we've got sandstone and mudstone here. These are mudstones. Pick one of these up. So this is a hard mudstone. So this is from standing water about 72 million years ago. Mudstones tend to be from lacustrine deposits, so like a lake bottom, maybe a swamp, an oxbow lake, something like that. And then we get the sandstone. Sandstone is finer grained. It tends to be from flowing water, like like a river, a stream, a creek, that kind of thing. So this is sandstone. It's a lot harder. It's more heavily cemented, at least in this case, but the grain size is smaller. So we could do a whole stream at some point on grain size. Wouldn't that be thrilling? But yeah, there's some basic sedimentary geology for you. And Murph says, any fossils in the mudstone you're smashing through, or is it best not to ask? None so far that we've seen. That being said, it probably is still best not to ask. Yeah. Good stuff. Anyway, it's good to see you, Murph. Hope things are good. We've gotten to one of those kind of awkward times with the overburden where we can't just shovel the rock directly down there, because that's where we intend to work next year. So instead we have to shovel it into these buckets and then move the buckets. So let me help Derek out here. I'll move a bucket for him. I've only got one hand, but I'll do that. Ugh. Try to make myself useful while I'm streaming. A well-deserved break. Yeah. Great song, by the way, by the Chats. You'd like them, Chat, actually. I think you share some kinship with that band, the Chats. But yeah, that's a fieldwork classic there. Smoko by the Chats. Give it a listen.
YouTube video's great too.
It is, yeah.
They got a couple good ones.
What do your favorite part of fieldwork is, Quinn?
Ooh, good question. Community.
The community?
Meeting new people every year.
Yeah.
Like Steph here. We've
Yeah.
become fast friends in, what, 9
That's
days?
awesome. And the people we meet here in the field like often become lifelong friends.
I agree.
And that's something special.
The dinosaur bones are pretty freaking cool, but yeah, like going back and hanging out and having dinner, cooking up dinner with everybody is like a blast. One of my new favorite things
Yeah?
is what Danny has been doing is bringing his karaoke machine.
You like the karaoke?
And I love the karaoke machine. That thing, doing that outside in the
Yeah.
field is a blast.
We might do that tonight. We'll see.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh,
We could do that. We'll
Okay.
we'll see.
I'm in for that.
I got a few songs.
We'll see. Yeah, we might do karaoke tonight. Yeah.
Or chat, you can't hear my
Yeah.
voice.
I don't want to see that.
Yeah, you don't want to see it.
A few drinks in it first too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not ready for the internet.
I'm not ready to blow up that quick.
There you go.
I'm gonna have record labels citing me left and right.
Exactly. You got to be careful about these things, you know?
Yeah.
Don't want to lose sight of who you are and, you know, abandon all your friends.
Yeah.
Come star too quickly.
True.
Yeah.
Me and Chapel Roan have similar voices. I've heard.
There you go. Yeah. We did have a song. I think that was one of the highlights of karaoke night number 1. But we're getting a ring. Well. Cheese puns are brilliant. Oh, brilliance. Cheesy Gids. Thank you for rating in. Welcome to Paleontologizing. How did your stream go? I hope it was cheese-tastic. I don't know. I can't come up with a cheese pun that fast. But thank you very much. Welcome to Paleontologizing. We're out here digging up a dinosaur in western Wyoming, and it is a tremendous amount of work. And yeah, I'm trying to bring paleontology to the people, you know? It's one thing to read about dinosaur digs or see them in the movies or whatever. It's quite another thing to actually see them happen live. I want you to feel almost like you're really here, you know? But you don't have to contend with the wind or the sun or the bugs or the dust. Holy cow, is there a lot of dust. But yeah, broadcasting to you live via satellite from middle of nowhere, Wyoming. There's a satellite right there.
Nowhere, it's heaven.
It is pretty nice, isn't it, Colin? Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Good stuff. Anyway, let me know if you've got any questions. This is science outreach. I'm trying to show people how science really works. Whether I'm back in my office going over new scientific papers, doing Q&A, interviewing other paleontologists, or whether we're out here in the field, you know, moving literal tons of rock, like Derek is doing right there. Derek, has anybody ever told you you're incredibly stylish in the field?
No.
That's a lie. Anyhow, good stuff. 393 people watching. That makes me really happy, you know? When I was a kid, growing up, I would have dreamed of seeing something like this, like a live dinosaur dig, where I could chat in and talk to the paleontologists and volunteers. So I'm trying to provide that, you know? And I also want to make the point that, like, if you at home are interested in this kind of thing, you could do this kind of work. It doesn't necessarily take any advanced degrees. You don't necessarily need any training or any special titles or anything like that. If you can get yourself out to a place like this, and if you're willing to work hard and put up with the conditions out here, you could join a paleontological dig, you know? Oh, thank goodness I just dropped my sunglasses on some soft rock. Let me go get those. But yeah, this is not a gatekeepy kind of science. And I don't know of very many other scientific fields where just anybody can become part of this, can contribute to the scientific process, you know? So I think that's pretty darn cool. Here, I'm gonna pick up this flypaper, because I don't want any critters to get stuck unnecessarily. I do not like seeing this. We don't want any lizards stuck on there. There we go. Good thing I found that. And let's coat this so it's not as sticky anymore. There we go. Ugh. Apparently the flies got really, really bad here last week. So they must have set this out and kind of forgotten about it. Yeah. And now it's stuck to me. Pull up Chad again. There we go. And Prince Nanerta was saying I can go help. I'm in Canada. Prince Nanerta, you have so much fieldwork going on up in Canada, though, especially in Alberta and maybe in Saskatchewan too. There's some other digs going on in British Columbia right now as we speak, as I understand. Canada is up there, especially for dinosaurs. It is one of the most fossil-rich countries on Earth. You should see about helping out some of your fellow Canadians. There's the Tyrrell Museum in Drumheller. They do fieldwork every year. Up in Toronto, there's the Royal Ontario Museum. You also have the Canadian Museum of Nature in Ottawa, if I remember correctly. You got a lot going on up there, so you're pretty lucky. And what's more, funding for science in Canada is not suffering the kinds of catastrophic cuts at the federal level that are happening in the US right now. We're in rough shape here in the United States. Oh boy, that one. Breezy, breezy. And Elway Wannabe says, is there anything of note in the Pacific Northwest? Oh yeah. The Burke Museum in Seattle has a prolific field program. They do a lot of field work. They often come out to Montana to do excavations. And they do take volunteers. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, contact the Burke Museum. I've worked with them before, back in 2014. We kind of glommed onto their crew. We had a small group of people from Museum of the Rockies, maybe like 6 people, and we joined them. They had they have a thing that they do every year where they bring out, I think, middle school teachers and teach them how to dig fossils and do geology, and then they can bring that information back to their students. They can bring back all kinds of cool stories, and honestly, that's got to be so good for science education, where, you know, your science teacher, you meet them on the first day, you meet your science teacher for the first time, and she says, yeah, I was out digging dinosaurs this summer, and fossil mammals. Let me tell you about it. Be like, holy cow, she's really cool. I want to learn whatever she's teaching. That's a neat program. Yeah. And let's see. Let me catch up to the chat. There's a lot of replies. Let me see what folks are talking about. Let's see. Feeling good today? I am feeling good, Shark Geek, yeah. Yesterday, I didn't feel the greatest. I don't think I'd gotten enough sleep. And also, we got rained out yesterday, so there was no stream. So I guess those two things coinciding. Got kind of lucky, really. But today, things are good. It is windy, though. But we're here at the ceratopsian site, moving literal tons of overburden. You gotta move a lot of rock to dig up a big dinosaur sometimes. That's precisely the goal here. Is your birthday coming up, Shark Geek? I'm sorry you're not feeling well. Hope you're better soon. But, yeah, shoot. Happy early birthday, Shark Geek. I hope it's a good one. This trip around the sun is your best one yet. If anyone's not yet following Shark Geek, you are missing out. He does all kinds of ocean conservation live streams with a heavy focus on sharks, of course. I love that sharks can be kind of ocean ambassadors, where that's the thing, is that if you manage to save sharks, you've kind of saved the whole ocean. And if you manage to do that, then you've kind of saved the whole world. Leatherback turtles are much the same in this regard. Anyway, Shark Geek does really cool stuff. You should give him decided to cancel a dive with the shark. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, Shark Geek. Darn. Let's take a look at chat. I'm doing well, C-Films. Good to see you. And the wind here is more of a hindrance, Michael. It's, I A nice breeze is nice. This is more of a gale, you know? It gets a little tiring. Like, you spend all day in strong winds like this, and it just makes you really tired. Also, it can blow dust and rocks into your eyes. That's no good. But at least it's not too hot, you know? Pluses and minuses, I guess. Yeah. But you get sick of yelling quick. Yeah, Shark Geek. I hope I don't lose my voice. But we only got about another hour. So I think I'll be okay. I'll make sure I drink some water though. C-Film says, so is it more windy in Wyoming than Chicago? Yes, I would say so. There are places in Wyoming where they have to close down the highway because it's just too dangerous to drive with the high winds. Cars will literally get blown off the road. So yeah, it is definitely more windy in Wyoming and across the whole state than it is in just the city of Chicago, certainly. Yeah. And I've got a pretty good mic here, Pate B. I'm very lucky. Yeah. And awesome, Claire McDonough. So glad you're following Shark Geek. That's really cool. Good follow there. Yeah. There are places in Wyoming and in Montana too where trains, you know, locomotives on the rails will get derailed by the wind. The wind gets so strong it literally just blows a train over. That's some wind. Thank you, Claire. Yes. And Lowlands Lounger says that's nuts. It happens, yeah. Up in Montana, there's a town, it's kind of the next big town over from Bozeman, called Livingston, Montana. And a bunch of movie stars have houses out there in the Paradise Valley. But in that area near Livingston, they have such incredibly strong winds that in the 1970s, I've read, during the energy crisis, they decided to experiment with wind power there. So they built 3 prototype windmills to try and harness some wind energy and generate electricity. As I've been told, the first windmill spun so fast that the motor exploded. The thing caught fire and blew up. The second windmill had so much wind that the wind just the blades ripped them off. And then windmill number 3, just, you know. I don't know if they have any windmills up in Livingston nowadays. They literally might be too windy for wind power. I know the last time I was there I didn't see any windmills, but that was like 2021. So yeah. I don't think I'm driving through there on my way to Montana, but if I do, I'll let you know what I see, if there's any windmills there. And I hope your hat is fused to your head. That's the thing, the Raven, is this is a new hat. I had that for 17 years. And you saw it maybe in well, many of previous field seasons on our live streams. I finally decided to retire it because after 17 years of field work and other adventures, the crown of the hat up here, the leather started to crack. And I don't want that hat to suffer a catastrophic death in the field. I want to be able to hold on to it. So I'm sentimental about it. So I got another one, same exact make and model. And this one doesn't fit quite as well yet. It's not totally broken in. A leather hat like this will actually shrink to conform to your head after enough time. And this one isn't quite there yet. So I do have to keep kind of readjusting it. But the other one, oh man, it fit like better than fitting like a glove, you know? I'd been all over the country and been to other continents with that hat, or at least one other continent, Europe. Doing field work, digging dinosaurs. That hat has been whitewater rafting on the Snake River.
It's been up in the snow and the wind and the rain and the heat, through sandstorms and dust devils and extreme heat and extreme cold. That hat served me really well, which is why I got the same exact one again. Yeah. Anywho. And there you go, the Raven. Yes. Yes. And Naughty Eric 208 says, do you keep finding new types of creatures there, or the creatures already discovered? New creatures here. We're very excited in that these rocks are poorly explored. This is from a particular chunk of time that is mostly unknown. So we know that there's dinosaurs from here, and we've known that there are dinosaurs from here. But nobody's named any of them. Nobody's excavated to be able to properly study them. So we know that there's dinosaurs here, but what are they? So since 2020, Ethan and the rest of this cadre, they've been coming up here to Wyoming to discover and excavate these animals. And this dinosaur that we're digging up here is almost certainly a new species. It might be the same one that we're digging up at a different site called Purple Puzzle. We've got a really beautiful skull from there. We've got some decent skull pieces from here, and we are trying to find more of them. But in order to do that, we've got to move a literal, I say a ton of rock, that's a grievous underestimate. Literal metric tons of rock. Like maybe several hundred tons, who knows. But all of this down here, and I'll show you what I mean. So this is the bone layer down here. This is the quarry floor. This is where we found the bones, but we found all of them we could find. It continues into the hill, so we've got to knock down the hill now. And that's what we're doing. This is going to be tricky. One hand and some teeth. Oh, the grommet broke.
Oh no!
Shoot! There's no fixing that.
Maybe we can put it in this one?
Yeah, maybe. We might have to redo the length on the rope though.
Alright.
Let's see if we can get the leg to actually stand up there though. Here, I'll bring it around to the other side, that'll be easier. There we go. Like that?
It's not too bad.
Okay. So far so good. See how long that lasts? Murph says this is so different than Turtle Hill. Oh yeah, for sure. Turtle Hill is like a, I don't know, a nice placid meadow compared to this. This is like a chain gang mixed with a war zone. Field work for you.
and Druffzilla. Up here, they're about feet above the bone layer. So, like the bones is way down there on the floor, the quarry floor. We are way above that. We always stop and check, so maybe something turns into something. Nick's got something there. Nope, okay. Good. Taking a break. I'm gonna get some lip balm. Out here where it's so dry, you gotta take care of your lip. Of our crew, those lips are all cracked and blistered. Gotta be careful of that kind of thing. There we go. It's nice to get the kind with sun protection factor as well, because you don't want your lips getting sunburned. That happened to me my first year out here, and don't want that happening again. And exactly, Peppercat, yep, you read my mind. Shoot, when I was up in Montana, it was like 2012, I not only had to put sunscreen on the underside of my nose, because the sunlight bouncing up from the white colored sandstone below, actually it started to sunburn the underside of my nose here. I know skiers and snowboarders sometimes get that. With all the sun reflecting off of the snow, it bounces up and gets the underside of your nose that isn't normally exposed to the sun. So I had to be careful about that, and also just drying out. So we'd have to take like Vaseline type stuff and just kind of put it on the inside of our nostrils so that we didn't dry out. And Great Sagist, hello to you, welcome, welcome. Great Sagist says, I want to get into science eventually. What kind of math should I be shooting for if I want to study something like the stars or even paleontology? That's a great question. The standard answer for that is take as many math classes as you can pass, you know? I am terrible at math. Math has always been kind of my bête noire. It's something to do with I don't know, just how my brain works. I always transpose different numbers, and I hated math growing up. And there are some paleontologists who are like me, where they don't do a whole lot of math for their science, or like the majority of their science is very math heavy. I would imagine that something like astronomy or astrophysics is also very, very math heavy. So just take as many math classes as you can and try and do as well as you can. Whatever's on offer, do it. But if you happen to be bad at math, it's not the end of the world, you know? Just do whatever you can do and take it as far as you can with your classes, if that makes sense. I think the most important thing that I can recommend, though, for being a paleontologist is reading. Read as much as you can and as widely as you can about so many different subjects. If you love reading or other means of taking in information, whether it's listening to audiobooks or watching documentaries, I don't know, there are some paleontologists who have dyslexia, and reading is a very difficult thing for them.
The point is, you're exposing yourself to a lot of ideas. Paleontology is one of those fields that's extremely broad. Like, we're dealing with the entire history of life on Earth. It's biology, it's geology, it's chemistry, it's sometimes physics, computer science. There's certain elements of human psychology in it, like the things that you have to do when you're navigating the politics of an academic department or talking to a university board or whatever. And talk to them. There's a lot of art in paleontology too. Like, if you can illustrate your own scientific papers, then that's great. There's so many different things that go into paleontology, into fossil science. There's many different ways of being a paleontologist. I might be an okay example of that, where I live stream to make my living. This is literally how I support myself, how I pay the bills. And that requires, I don't know, I guess some degree of technical know-how to be able to get all the equipment to work properly and to run a live stream. It requires being able to speak off the cuff. So, like, public speaking is an important skill. There's so many different things that you can use in the field of paleontology. And there are pretty much as many different ways to be a paleontologist as there are different paleontologists. There are some people who never come out to the field and do field work like this. They literally spend their entire career, you know, sitting at a computer desk and, you know, running simulations of, you know, dinosaur biomechanics, stuff like that. There are people who do phylogeny, where they're just generating evolutionary family trees. And then there are people who spend 11 months out of the year doing field work. You know, Luke, whom we had on camera the other day, last year, he was doing field work from I think it was like March through January of 2020, March of 2025 through January of 2026. He was out in the field digging up fossils. So yeah. Anywho. The point is, there's a lot of different ways to get into paleontology. There's a lot of skills to learn. There's a lot of different ways to be a paleontologist. I like to think that I'm helping illustrate that, where I'm the world's first full-time live streaming paleontologist. I think the first fossil scientist who's ever made his living for multiple years doing outreach live streams. So yeah. Dirt or Bust says, that's neat. It's like how NASA isn't all astronauts. Exactly, yeah. Yeah. There's an apocryphal story about NASA. I don't know who I heard this from, and I might get some of the details wrong. But there was a US president, it was probably Kennedy. John F. Kennedy, I think, was visiting a NASA facility. And he's getting a tour, and then he runs into a custodian, a janitor, somebody who cleans things up, cleans the toilets and whatnot. And he goes, should I try and do a JFK impression? You there, what do you do here at this facility? And the janitor says, well, we're helping send people into space. I'm helping send people into space, is what the janitor said. And he was right. The cool thing is, when you're part of a grand enterprise like this, whether it's NASA or whether it's, fossil science, paleontology, you are part of something much bigger than yourself. You're contributing to a larger project, something that's meaningful, something that gives us perspective about the world around us and the universe at large. That's really special. The work that we're doing here, it might look like we're a chain gang just breaking rocks in the hot sun. Manual labor, and that is what it is. But also, we're contributing to the progress of fossil science. Bit by little bit, we're helping uncover the history of life on Earth. We're moving this tremendous amount of rock here to be able to get a peek of what this horned dinosaur looked like when it was alive. We can find its bones, reconstruct it, understand its relationship to other horned dinosaurs, and its relationship ecologically to the other creatures in this environment, the animals and the plants and the other organisms. And this is just another kind of piece of the puzzle when we're thinking about the evolution of life on Earth and our own place in it as human beings too. Because when these dinosaurs were walking around, our ancestors, tiny little shrew-like mammals, were scampering around in the underbrush, living in a world ruled by these dinosaurs. Our own story as human beings ties into the story of these dinosaurs. It's all connected. It's pretty cool to be part of that, you know? It's pretty cool to be able to contribute to this grander scientific understanding of the world around us. We're really lucky to be here. Yeah. And there you go, librarians. There you go, Stormy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Good stuff. You're all good.
It's unfortunate.
What is that noise sound? Is that the music?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. It sounded like burlap being torn or something like that.
I wish.
Yeah. The wind does make it a little harder to hear the music. Fine work, guys. Shoot.
Moving a mountain, no big deal.
Yeah. Another day's work.
Drone striking a
Yeah. Good stuff. You'll see some of the equipment over here. Maybe I should show this off. These batteries are rechargeable, and these are for some of the impact drivers and hammer drills and stuff that we use. We've got various shovels, and then chisels and wedges for cracking open some of these rocks. So here's one of those cold chisels here. This was brand new, probably this year or last year. But yeah, we're pretty rough on equipment out here. That's just part of how it goes. But look at that. Oh, we got these big, thick, heavy wedges for cracking the rocks open. You saw this last time, how using those rock saws, our crew can make incisions into these big, huge, heavy, thick, hard sandstone blocks. And then you shove one of these into one of those incisions, and you hammer it, and you split the rock open. And you just wailing on that thing with a sledgehammer. And one of these guys is what, like a 12-pound sledge? Something like that? Oof, 8 pound, okay. Yeah. And again, we wail on these things. You can see where did it go? We've broken a couple of these sledgehammers.
I was about to say, did you see the broken head, Danny?
Yep.
There it is.
There we go. Just shattered. Look at that. That fiberglass just destroyed.
And this one's on its way.
Yeah, look at that. It's starting to split. That's not long for this world. Be careful using that. It's an 8-pound piece of steel.
We're just not using it anymore.
Yeah. Smart.
It's too risky.
Yep. Quite the capable crew here. If they're breaking tools like that on these rocks, it shows you how hard the rocks are and how hard this crew works. And Gojira, that would be nice, but
Good luck getting a tractor up here. It's very steep. Like, I don't know how you even do that. You'd have to, like, yeah, I guess you'd have to helicopter it in. Obviously, we don't have that kind of budget. Nor is that on our permit. I think you need special permission to use a helicopter around here. But, yeah. And no, Hammond hasn't shown up yet. Still waiting on that guy, Squiggles. We're probably getting like 40-mile-an-hour gusts, maybe 50 through here every once in a while. I shouldn't be standing next to this thing, it's gonna blow over. Yeah. Anyway, 404 people watching, holy cow. Do a quick little station break. Welcome to Paleontologizing, everybody. If you're just joining us, welcome, my name is Danny Anduza. I'm a dinosaur paleontologist, and I'm streaming to you live via satellite. There's our dish right there. From beautiful, breezy Wyoming. We're digging up a new species of horned dinosaur. At least we suspect strongly that this is a brand new species. And we're moving a tremendous amount of rock to be able to get it. We've already got all the bones out that we can from the bone layer, but the bone layer continues under here, and so we've got to basically knock down the whole hill, and that is more difficult than it sounds because, well, the hill is constructed largely of extremely hard sandstone, heavily concreted. This is the sort of thing that is harder than concrete. It's really something. Oh, there's a raven up there. Hey, raven friend. Nice. Yeah, take a look at this. Just nuts. Again, I've shown this several times. We're gonna do it again. Look at what we've moved. This crew is extraordinarily capable. So using these rock saws here, they're cutting down through all this. That's the bone layer down there. So we've already gotten all the bones out that we could find, but we see that it continues into the hill. All of this rock has to come down until where they're standing is just on top of here. All of that. It's like a solid, what, 12 feet of rock? About 30 feet deep. Yeah. A lot of work. A lot of work. And Horklump says, do you help or just film it? I would be, you know, right up there with a pick and a shovel and everything else, but I'm trying to bring this to you at home. I was doing that this morning with the pry bars, just trying to topple those boulders and roll them down the hill. When you say that, it kind of hurts my heart a little. I want to be up there digging, but instead I'm showing this to you at home. I feel a little bad because I come here and I join the crew for the day. I've been bouncing around at different sites, and you know, I do as much manual labor as I can before it's time to stream. But then when it's time to stream, I've got to attend to chat, I've got to hold the camera, I've got to do all that. So anyway. Yeah, and I don't know. I understand that this sort of thing is helping Claire, but still, it's not the same as being there with a shovel in hand. But yeah. members of this community, viewers of Paleontologizing, have contributed almost 4 to our crew this summer, helping us get a rental vehicle and fuel. We all know how expensive that is right now. Holy moly. Thanks to some colossally stupid decisions by some of the people in power in the US right now. Fuel is very, very expensive. And you guys are helping us afford that. And I appreciate that tremendously. The whole crew does. And we're going to be able to find a whole bunch more sites with that rental truck in just a week or so when Logan gets here. So I can be proud of that for sure. But yeah. Oh, and I appreciate that, Gravity. Thank you. Yeah. And Freelancer says, to be honest, if it wasn't for this stream, I wouldn't know that birds are dinosaurs. And how cool is that, you know? Every time you see a bird nowadays, you realize that that is part of a lineage of living things. Goes back through the Mesozoic era. Doesn't that make birds so much cooler? Anyhow, that's the kind of perspective that paleontology gives us, and that's what I'm trying to share with you at home, you know? Oh, yeah. Anywho. And, what an awesome name. Holy cow. Leatherback Siren. Says, thank you so much for teaching us. Even if what you really want to be doing is the physical labor, your dedication means the world to us. I appreciate you saying that, Leatherback Siren. Are you aware of the leatherback work that we've been doing too? Can we get some leatherback emotes going in the chat? Here, this is, it's been one of my things for the past year. Also, Andrew, wonderful to see you. Holy cow. 2 very cool people here in the chat right now. Excellent. Yeah, good stuff. I'm not sure who you are, Leatherback Siren, but you have an awesome username, and I appreciate it. And I'm thrilled that you're here. Leatherback turtles, Dermachelys coriacea. They've been something of an obsession of mine for the past year. And just a couple weeks ago, I was extraordinarily lucky to be able to go out to Florida and see some in person. And you're not going to be able to see this very well because of the glare, and it's a night vision photo, but there's me with a leatherback turtle at Juno Beach, Florida. I was working with the Loggerhead Marine Life Center, which is an extraordinary organization. And I was incredibly lucky to be able to go out there and, I don't know, help in some small way promote their work and just see the incredible things that they're doing for the conservation of marine turtles. Leatherbacks are, I think, maybe the most magnificent living animal on our planet. They're straight out of the Cretaceous period. They are the most quintessentially Mesozoic of marine reptiles. And they've been, well, since the time of the dinosaurs. The rocks that we're digging in right now here at this site are about 72 million years old. There were already leatherback turtles, the members of that lineage, the Dermachelidae, swimming around at this time. And they're still around today. There's one living species, and their numbers are declining with distressing speed. We need to do everything that we can to help protect them and make sure that they'll be around for the next 80 million years, you know? So yeah. Let's see. You should check out, can somebody post a link to the, thank you Murph for gifting Leatherback Siren, yeah. I really appreciate that. Somebody post a link to our Leatherback Turtles playlist on the YouTube page too. That includes some of the interviews that I've done with leatherback turtle specialists, people like Scott Benson and Justin Peralt and Jeanette Weineken. Some of the coolest people. Claire just did excellent. Thank you, Claire. And thank you, Squiggles. So yeah. Anywho, Andrew Milner. Andrew, are you still in the chat watching right now? It's good to see you, man. I hope things are good down there in St. George. We're here in western Wyoming, and check out the amount of rock that we've moved. Let me walk down here and show you, Andrew, just for you. Yeah. Anyway, we'll be doing more leatherback turtle streams and maybe some fundraisers and stuff as the year continues, but right now it's summertime. It's time for some dinosaur field work. So that's precisely what I'm doing. So Andrew, ceratopsian site here, where we've got we think is a new ceratopsid, probably kind of similar to Pentaceratops or Triceratops. But that's the bone layer down there. This site was first discovered in 2023, and that year in 2024 we excavated several skeletal elements, including several important skull bones. And then we kept going toward that back wall there, and then we hit the wall. The bone layer, we hope, continues, so we've got to knock down this entire shelf. So just a tremendous amount of rock that we have to move, and look at all of the rock that we've moved so far. Just nuts. This is some of the most overburden I've ever been involved with. Look at this. All of this moved by hand. It's really something. Check that out. Sometimes you gotta move a lot of rock to dig up a big dinosaur. And that's what we've done here. Excellent. GTA G Speedy says, love this. Glad you do. Welcome, welcome. It's good to have you here. Yeah. And hi to you too. Welcome, G-Tag. This one get everyone's shape or kill you. Yeah, we're trying to make it the former and not the latter, and we've been successful thus far. So, wish us luck. Cross your fingers. Things continue to go well. But what's funny is that we started this whole thing. We're like, yeah, we got to knock down this whole hill because any skull bone from this animal is incredibly important. It's worth the blood, sweat, and tears. And then, Andrew, you know how field IDs are often, shall we say, preliminary, tentative? Well, we have another site a few miles away called the Purple Puzzle site. And for several years, we've been digging at that site and found a lot of big bones. And we've been working under the assumption that it's a duckbill, a hadrosaur. We flipped a jacket the other day. Turns out we were wrong. What we thought was a hadrosaur is another ceratopsid, a horned dinosaur. For those of you who don't know what a ceratopsid is, it's like Triceratops. Beautiful skull. We had this thing jacketed since last year. We had no idea it was in there. It's not a duckbill. It's a horned dinosaur. It's a ceratopsid. And so now we've got two ceratopsids. One from this site, one from Purple Puzzle. That doesn't exactly devalue this site. If anything, I don't know, it almost makes it more important to dig here, because if we can get two specimens of the same animal, the same species, which it might well be the same species, then that'll make our scientific paper all the more rigorous to be able to say we have two individuals. Or they might turn out to be two different species, which would be cool. Maybe even more cool, depending on how you look at it. So, we have an excellent ceratopsid skull already.
It was a surprise. This is still really important work to do, so we're still continuing with this, if that makes sense. Yeah. G-Tag Speedy says, have you ever found a raptor? You mean a dromaeosaur, like in Jurassic Park, like Velociraptor or Deinonychus? We think we might have one at the Ankylosaur site right now. It's very small, looks like a small theropod dinosaur. Could very well be a dromaeosaur. Yeah. And Murph says, have you found anything more than hope for all this work? Any clues that indicate more is in there? We are kind of operating on hope at this point, you know? It could be that we found all the bones that are there, and maybe all of this work is in vain. But I doubt it. I think we'll find more of this critter. And SolarPod says skulls are very rare and cool to find, right? For ceratopsids in particular, the big horned dinosaurs, the skulls aren't rare. The skull is generally the part that you find, but they are extremely important. If you just have the back, nobody's going to care about that. It's the skull that's really important. It changes very quickly. These animals are evolving pretty quickly. It's the skull that has the big changes in it. If a ceratopsid, you bet. Nobody really cares about the postcrania. Sorry, this is how it is. This is one of those dinosaurs where you kind of need the skull if you want to do good science on it. And luckily we have that. So yeah. Birian says, how close are you to Yellowstone? Not close. No, very far away from Yellowstone. Yeah. I'm driving up to Montana in a few days. In about 6 days. 5 days. And I don't think I'm even going through Yellowstone. I don't think it's a straight shot where I'm going. But yeah. And Andrew says you should join us in Red Canyon later in the summer. When is that going to be, Andrew, if you don't mind my asking? Because I'd love to. That'd be really cool. Right now, I'm slated to do field work here until Sunday. Then I take off for Wyoming, or for Montana, excuse me. And I'm going to be there until about the end of the month. Then I go up to Michigan for like a little bit. Ios and Lordy, that's going to be a lot of fun. And then after that, going out to Utah near, I'm going to be working with Jim Kirkland and Don DeBlue, the Utah Geological Survey. That'll be really nice, and that'll feel like a vacation after this, honestly. And then later on in September, October, I might be doing some work with Josh Lively, again out near Moab. I also have to go to a wedding in Salt Lake, and I'm going to be doing, hopefully, leatherback turtle field work in Monterey, California in September, like early-ish September. So if I could slot in some field work with you, Andrew, that would be incredible. August 31st until September 8th. Oh, I don't know if that's going to work, Andrew. Shoot. I'll see though. I'll see, because that would be really cool. Yeah. The Chinle. Again, I've never worked in the Triassic before, so that would be really neat. We'll see. Oh man, I feel conflicted about this. I really want to be able to do that, but I don't think it's going to work. I appreciate the invite, Andrew. I really do. And I wish you the best of luck out there. That's going to be cool. And we'll be doing other stuff through the fall. Nice. Maybe I can come down to St. George at some point for like a week, especially if you're going to be there in the fall. But yeah, my calendar is filling up, which is a good feeling, but at the same time, it's like when it rains, it pours. There's so many cool things to do, and finding time for them all is tricky. Let's talk? Sounds good, Andrew. Let's talk. Yeah. And G-Tag Speedy says, where's the best place to find bones? In the ground. No. It depends what kind of critters you're looking for. If you're looking for dinosaur fossils, you have the right age, and they have to be exposed at the surface. So here in Wyoming, we know that these rocks are about, and we have to find terrestrial sediments. So occasionally you might find a dinosaur in ocean floor sediments, what we call marine strata, but that's rare. It's a fluke when you find that. It means the dinosaur died, got washed out to sea, maybe by a river, and then fell to the bottom of the ocean. It's not unheard of, it does happen, but it's not super common. If you really want to find dinosaurs, you got to look in the rocks where they lived, on land. So what we have here at the ceratopsian site, this is probably an oxbow lake or a swamp, something like that, where you had kind of stagnant water. You had a dinosaur that died and maybe got washed into that oxbow lake or something, and that's where it was preserved. So we had a crew member find this back in 2023, just walking along, finding fragments of bone on the surface. We dug in and there's a skeleton there, or at least part of one. So yeah, good stuff. Oh, you got a second container? That's awesome, Andrew. That's really good to hear. Cool stuff going on down there in St. George. Superb. Yep, hear the jackhammer firing up again. Let's go up there. Oh, we got Steph on jackhammer. Nice. Go up quick so I don't get clobbered by some rocks, because that is the talus pile there. This isn't smart. Nick is paying attention. So, Ms. Blue Skies, that's a good question. Why do we only get bones in certain layers? That's the vagaries of preservation, you know? Fossilization is a funny thing. It requires specific circumstances to fossilize, say, dinosaur bones. And you can get that in these really thick concreted sandstones like this. This is from like a river channel that was coming through. So river was flowing through this area and then had sand suspended in the water. The sand would fall out of suspension onto the floor, you know, the bottom of that river, and then over time was compacted into sandstone. You do get bones in that sort of stuff, but we've not found any in any of this sandstone here. We've only gotten it in this mudstone layer that is well below that sand. So that's why we're not worried about using power tools at this site. In fact, we have to get rid of all this stuff that's not yielding bone in order to get down to the bone layer. We got all the bones that we could from that layer, but it continues underneath all of this stuff, what we call overburden. So we've got to get rid of all of that overburden in order to be able to expand the bone bed and see what's down there. Does that make sense? Yeah.
And Birian says, I've been to this site many times, yes. I was here the day this site was discovered in 2023. And then back in 2024, 2025, now here we are in 2026. So, yeah. Site is like an old friend. You know, we go way back. Changing conditions over time. Exactly, Ms. Blue Skies. Yeah, you got it. And Deathsaurus says, is dynamite still used for overburden, or is it too dangerous to use nowadays? There are some crews that do use explosives. I don't know if they use dynamite per se. They might use TNT or something similar. But I think we need special permission to use that kind of thing at a site like this. And yeah, it probably just is too dangerous. It's not on our permit either. I don't think we're allowed to use explosives. We haven't requested permission for that. Yeah. And Akira Eclipse says, what's the most underappreciated dinosaur in your opinion? Most underappreciated dinosaur. I could give a snarky answer and say, oh, the Anna's hummingbird is the most underappreciated dinosaur. But that's not even true. People love hummingbirds. The most underappreciated dinosaur, objectively speaking, is one that hasn't been named yet. And it's just being worked on by a team. You know, they'll publish it. But as for the dinosaurs that are actually out there that have been published on, they're in the scientific literature and the public knows about them to a certain extent. I think one of the most underappreciated dinosaurs might be or Falcarius. These are two different dinosaurs that are individuals, and they have interesting things to say about ontogeny and about changing ecologies over time. Falcarius is a good one because it represents a transition from carnivory to herbivory, we think. So going from eating meat to eating plants, which is something I can relate to as a vegetarian. But it's also very closely related to birds as a Meniraptor and theropod dinosaur. And then there's like thousands of bones that have been dug up from that species, Falcarius utahensis. And yeah, it has the potential to teach us a ton about dinosaur growth and development, about changing dinosaur diets over evolutionary time, about the evolution of the Therizinosaur group, that's the family that it's part of. And because it's in North America, wind. But then it turns out Falcarius is older, and it's from Utah, so maybe that group first evolved in North America. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that that makes Falcarius special. So, W's in the chat for Falcarius, I guess, if we're going to use the archetypical Twitch lingo. Hang on a second. Yeah. I'm getting a text message that some of the tents in camp have been destroyed by the wind. We had that yesterday, too, where some of the Idaho people showed up. Day one, the wind destroyed their tents. This is not a hospitable environment, you know, like, the conditions are rough out here. So, RIP to those tents that were just destroyed back in camp. Yeah. And let's see here. There were some other questions, I think. And Bobo, we do what we call prospecting. I think there might be a command there. Read that, but yeah. That is the most common question I get out here. And I gotta be careful that I don't just repeat the answer 24 times per stream, because I don't want that to get that repetitive for everybody who's watching the entire stream. But yeah. And Ms. Blue Sky says, so I've heard that the basal-most dinosaur was a bipedal carnivore. Were there herbivorous synapsids, or were there just no large? No, there were herbivorous synapsids and herbivorous archosaurs too. So both herbivorous reptile and mammal ancestors at the time. Yeah, dinosaurs start off the earliest dinosaurs that we have are carnivorous, and then, well, yeah, then they die. And Starmy says, did you have a favorite dinosaur as a kid? I had multiple. I would go through different ones. But yeah, I don't know, I really liked Velociraptor for a long time. And then I moved on to, well, I really liked Dilophosaurus too. Dryosaurus was my favorite dinosaur for a number of years. Yeah, truly the king of the dinosaurs, Dryosaurus. Nowadays I have several favorites, but yeah. Yeah, good stuff. And what's my favorite non-dinosaur extinct reptile, says Blue Skies? That's a good question. As of this past year, probably some kind of fossil dermacheliid. Fossil leatherback turtle. Yeah. And I wish I had still to go out and learn. Finding the fossils is amazing. It is, Bobo, yeah. But you don't necessarily have to have skills to come out and do this kind of work. Like, we have people on this crew who, this is their first time ever doing this. You know, they're brand new to this kind of thing. And the way that it works here is we'll train you on the job. There are a bunch of different crews across the United States and around the world who do this sort of work, and they rely on volunteer labor. And not everybody that you're going to get applying is going to be very experienced in this, so we have to be able to train people. So yeah. Like Steph, for instance, here, this is her first year doing this, and she's picked up a ton of skills and is just an invaluable member of the crew. So
Yeah, I learned a lot.
Derek, this is your second year doing fieldwork?
Yeah.
Nice, yeah. He's a pro at this point. Same with Colin over here, third year? Nice. Yeah, James, 3 years?
Third year.
Yeah. Quinn, how long have you been doing fieldwork?
7 years?
7 years now, nice. Yeah, and Nick is a powerhouse, holy cow. Probably a decade or more at this point, fieldwork?
Probably about 10 years.
Nice, yeah, yeah.
What about you, Dad?
I've been digging dinosaurs since 2011, so however many years that is.
Am I mathing right?
Yeah, it'll be 15 this year, I think. Yeah.
Superior.
Well, I might be the oldest person here, actually, believe it or not. Yeah. So, what's that? Oh, I'm 21, yeah. Like all successful Twitch streamers, I am both 21 years old and single. Perpetually. So yeah, anyway, the point is, you don't have to have a doctor before your name to do this kind of work. You don't have to have any experience necessarily. That being said, this isn't, not everybody's cut out to do field work like this. You've seen how it gets hot. There's a lot of physical labor. It's conditions can be harsh. I just told you about those tents that got destroyed back in camp by the wind. Not to kick anybody while they're down, but that's almost certainly user error. People don't know how to use guy lines, and it's so frustrating. Like, they're like, oh yeah, I'll buy this cheap tent and it'll be fine. Like, properly, have guy lines going down to stakes in the ground properly. You could make a cheap tent work out here, but you have to do it right. So, I don't know. That's the sort of thing that comes with experience, I guess, or just having somebody sit down and explain to you how it works. But yeah. Buy cheap, buy twice, says Akira Clips. Yeah, or buy cheap and then just be very, very careful and buy once, but no, usually it is buy cheap and buy twice, thrice, thrice? Yeah. Yeah. And Mayor Space says, "Ah, you're one of the youths. Give us your hardiest 6'7". No, I'm not that young. Not even gonna pretend. Anyway, it's good to have you all here. Doctor Who, how are you doing? It's good to have you. Very happy for these streams showing how it is out there. Of course, Charlie's Dragon, yeah. And I want to make this accessible for everybody at home. Like, not everybody has the opportunity to go out and do this kind of work. I encourage you, if you do have the ability, if you're physically fit, if you really want to do this kind of thing, do it. You know, contact your local museum, email some paleontologists, or whatever kind of field work it is, or museum work, or whatever. Like, get involved. You don't have to sit around at home. You could be part of the action, you know? It's easier than you think to get involved with this kind of thing. But that being said, there's a lot of people who don't want to, or maybe they would love to, but they don't have the ability, for whatever reason, financial, geographic, political, or whatever. They can't travel. They can't get themselves to a place like this. Maybe there's different physical abilities. People need medication. People can't stomach the idea of not having a flush toilet. I get all that, and like, those are valid things. And I don't mean to denigrate or downplay that at all. Quite the opposite. That's part of the reason why I stream from the field, is I want everybody to be able to see this kind of thing. If you don't have the ability to do this for whatever reason, I want to show it to you and make you feel like you're really here, you know? So we're coming up on 5 o'clock here. This is normally about the time we wrap up, but we're getting some excellent work done. You guys are getting some excellent work done. Yeah. I know there was talk of staying later today because we got rained out yesterday.
Yeah.
Probably wrap up soon. Yeah. Cool.
I think 5:15 we said.
Yeah? Okay. Nice. I'll keep streaming for a bit. But let me know if you got any other questions, chat. We're all about it here. Let's go into the shade. We haven't been here yet today. Oh, this is nice. Yeah, look at that. And Birian, hey, it's a pleasure to be able to do this. Thank you for supporting me with your viewership. I appreciate that. And indoors, yeah, right, Claire? Hey, wait a minute, I thought this was an outdoor stream. Asked, does the crew have to be medically cleared before digging? Not really, it's kind of an honor system thing. Yeah, with this operation here, it's not like being an astronaut, you know? You don't have to go through a bunch of tests and everything. But there is stuff like, you should be able to lift 50 pounds. You should be able to walk a couple miles. You should be able to, I don't know, sit in an uncomfortable position all day and dig in the sun, stuff like that. But it's like self-selecting. And we have different crew members with different abilities, and we try and put them in whatever job suits them best. So here at the ceratopsian quarry, this is our strapping lads and lasses. This is people who are physically fit, and they don't mind shoveling, picking, throwing rocks in the sun all day. Sun and wind, like you see today. But we've got other sites that are being worked right now. We've got 4 other sites, each with varying levels of physicality or precision. This is the high octane, hard physical labor all day kind of site. Other sites are in different places on that spectrum. Some of them are
let's sit quietly in the quarry all day and find extremely small fossils. That's kind of like Turtle Hill. Then you have the Ankylosaur site, which is kind of near that side of the spectrum too. And then you have Purple Puzzle that's kind of in between. We've got overburden to do there, and we've got overburden, like moving tons of rock, and like small precise work too, actually excavating some of the fossils, but they tend to be larger bones there. So yeah, it depends. And yeah. But then again, I've been on cruise before where you need references from other places. Maybe you need to be able to list the experience that you've had in the field before. Especially if it's a smaller crew in a more remote area, then you might really have to be able to prove yourself and say, yeah, I've dug in the Hell Creek Formation and the Judith River and the Chin Lee and the Morrison, and I've worked with these people and that crew, and I have a degree in this. There's some field crews that are like that, where they'll only take people who are, kind of battle tested. But what I think one of the really cool things about this operation, led by Ethan Cowgill, is that we take all kinds of folks. We have PhD paleontologists on the crew right now, and we have people who have never spent much time outdoors at all, who don't have a degree or anything like that, and this is their first time doing fieldwork. So, got a pretty diverse crew, and I think that's pretty neat. I love the idea of having an operation where it can be kind of an incubator for young paleontologists. Where, like, if you really want to get into this field, then you can join us and we'll train you up, and maybe you go on to a career in fossil science. There's a few special organizations like that around the country and around the world, and it's like a lot of big name paleontologists nowadays are kind of graduates of those programs. Places like Ashfall Fossil Beds in Nebraska, or Museum of the Rockies used to be like this, where they would have huge field crews, 50 people maybe, kind of like we have out here, and they take volunteers from across the country and around the world. Those programs are really cool, and they're part of what helps keep paleontology going, because paleontology is not just the kind of indoor academic side of things. There's a lot of field work too, and that's the sort of thing that you can't learn in a classroom. You just can't. You've got to go out and do it, gain that experience, spend time outdoors, learn how to dig, learn how to make a field jacket, learn about transporting fossils over rough terrain, learn about prospecting, learn how to take a stratigraphic section, learn how to read the rocks, the sort of thing that you cannot learn in a classroom. So we're pretty proud that this operation that we've got going here, the Central Laramidia Project as we call it, we're becoming one of those programs where we're helping train the next generation of paleontologists. That's something to be very proud of, I think. Yeah. Puggo Wuggo says, I would have loved to join you guys on one of these digs. Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, is that I'm here on Twitch talking about this, and we can't exactly send out an invite to Twitch viewers being like, yeah, come out and join us in person. But if you're driven to do this kind of thing, try to find your way into it. Not our crew necessarily, but there are other paleontological crews around the country and around the world who need volunteers. As I always say, reach out to them. Find out who they are, where they are, get in contact. We, I say the paleontological we, those of us in this discipline, we need volunteers. Can people from chat join your crew?
Really, not really, Starmy. No. Unless I know you in person, it's difficult for me to say that because I want to be able to say yes, but I'm not in charge of things here. I'm not in charge of who gets to join us here on the crew. So, paleontology, like many things in life, is kind of a who do you know kind of thing. So yeah. But chances are there is a museum or a field crew where if you're a capable person, if you really want to do this kind of thing, you could join up. And then maybe if you have field experience, you can contact Ethan and be like, hey, I've dug here, I've dug there, I know these people, I'm vetted. Can I join your crew? Does that make sense? I think the important point is your entry into fieldwork should not be Danny Anduza. You know, oh, I watched this guy on Twitch. It should be, I'm really interested in the science, or this looks really cool. And it's not just, hey, let's go follow Danny into the field. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? I hope it does. Yeah. No worries, Starmy. No worries. Yeah. Twitch party bus rolling to Wyoming. Exactly, Trick Tracks. That's what we're trying to avoid, I guess. Yeah. And is there any unskilled work people can do to help paleontology? Absolutely, Ms. Blue Skies. Yeah, thank you for asking. Museums always need help. Whether you're cleaning fossils in the lab, which can be a job that requires a lot of skill, it can be a job that you get trained to do, you know, on the job. Yeah, but like helping out as a docent at a museum, or, you know, talking to donors, becoming like part of the Friends of the Paleontological Museum kind of thing. There's lots and lots and lots of work that you can do. You should reach out to your local museum if you have one nearby. And from like physically working in the museum to like helping raise funds, or maybe do artwork, painting, like you never know what kind of jobs need to be done in a museum until you ask. So yeah, does that make sense? Yeah. Anywho. And Murph says, I may be mistaken in believing that this is the biggest volunteer dig in the US. I think it is, actually. Yeah. I think at one point this summer we might have as many as 50 people in camp. So I think it might be the biggest volunteer dig in the United States. If not in the world, I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked if China's got some much bigger ones, but I don't know about those. I don't know if that's happening. We might be the biggest one in the world right now. Yeah. Anywho. Deathsaurus says, if Twitch dries up in a party bus to your dig site, just tell the crew it's a Twitch raid. I don't know if they know what that means. Yeah. Anywho. I think with that, it's almost time to wrap things up here. If you've got any other questions, bring them out now, because we're going to wrap this up. But, this has been a lot of fun. I'm glad we got to stream today. I'm glad we didn't get rained out like yesterday. And thank you, Urgle Wurgle, for that gift sub. Oh, Andrew, you subscribed yourself. Thank you for that, Andrew. Holy moly. I really appreciate that. That's the guy who runs the St. George Dinosaur Discovery Site and Museum. Paleontologist Andrew Milner there in the chat. Ubrontes1. Thank you, Andrew, for subscribing. That means a lot to me. I appreciate it. Ms. Blue Skies says, what's your favorite varietal of apple? I like Gala. That's my favorite. I'll eat any kind of apple, but Gala is definitely my favorite. I want to say that might be the most popular one in the country, too. But it's always been my favorite. And let's see. Yeah, usually not a whole ton of fossils in such lush, beautiful tropical countries such as Trinidad there, Pago Wago. but it does happen sometimes. But yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that was a nice question to end it on, Ms. Blue Skies. I appreciate. And that's. I mean, I don't know if we have applesauce. If we're gonna get apples for the crew, Gala's usually a good bet. Anywho, everybody, we're gonna wrap this up, but don't go away just yet. We are gonna raid into somebody else doing some science, if at all possible. Today is Wednesday, so we might just get lucky and be able to raid into Raikodactylus. Let's see if he's on right now. He is a cognitive scientist who studies very important things. So let's see. Following. There's Reiko. Excellent. Doing some science communication. Beautiful. Let's go right into Reiko. Reiko _ Dactylus. Perfect. Thank you everybody for being here. Thanks for joining us out here in Wyoming. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you learned something today. I learned some things today. I know the internet, you could be just about anywhere, but you've been joining us out here on a live dinosaur dig. Thank you for your viewership and your financial support. That's the reason I can do this full time, is because of the generosity of the subscribers and the gifters and the cheerers. And of course, the moderators showing up day in and day out, keeping this a safe and welcoming community for everybody. That's the reason why this mission of science outreach can be so broad and reach such a wide audience, is because the mods make sure to, well, manage the chat. Especially when I'm out here, I can't do that myself. So thank you, mods. Anyway, without further ado, we're gonna go right into Raikodactylus, see what kind of science outreach, science education he's doing right now. So hopefully we'll be streaming again tomorrow, same time, same region. Probably not ceratopsian site, different site. But tune in then to find out where I am. And I'll see you then, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.